I do have a couple of things I want to say, and I never get tired of this. I said it earlier this morning. I say it every opportunity that I have, and that is that I want to thank each of you for being a nurse. Over the last 10 years, we have become so impressed with who you are, what you do, and how you got to be where you are. There is not any profession, and you can just think in your own mind, there is no profession that combines the intelligence of nursing. Remember what you had to do to get to be a nurse to begin with. The intuition that you have as a group, your ability to spot things at the drop of a hat, the clinical skills that all of you have. All those things make you unique to begin with. And then on top of that, you guys have compassion. There is no profession like nursing. You truly, truly, truly make the world a better place by what you do. And as I said, I cannot thank you enough for what you do. Bonnie and I get a lot of thanks for doing this program. This program is because of you. We get so much more out of this than we ever put into it, because we get to go around and say thank you to you guys for being a nurse. So for all those families that forgot to say thank you, but who really wanted to, and from our family, thank you for being nurses. You're terrific. And then it says on the program that I'm supposed to also explain Cinnabons, why we bring Cinnabons to all of these presentations. And the new president pointed out to me that there were, I used to say there were 3 reasons, and she told me that if I was going to do this, I had to be honest and say there's 4 reasons. And the first reason is that I really like Cinnabons. I think they should be included in the food group thing. But they're not, but unfortunately, I still really like them a lot. I used to say the first reason was that when Pat was sick, he wasn't eating anything, and he asked for a Cinnabon, he ate mine, and then that night he asked for a Cinnabon, and he said, please bring enough for all the nurses. And I did that, and so I found out then I have a lot of pals out there that really like Cinnabons too. So they have become a part of the whole program. And the other day, one of the nurses said that that was the favorite part of the whole presentation was the Cinnabons. And so I thought, would the Daisy Award be nearly as successful if Pat had said, please bring me some Brussels sprouts? It probably would not have had nearly the impact that it has. But the second reason we bring them is exactly what you said, is that it is a team effort. So even though one nurse is being celebrated at this particular occasion, it is the whole group that needs to just stop and reflect for a minute. And so it's an opportunity to share why you are nurses. It's a fun moment to have everyone in your unit just enjoy something really, really good together. But the last reason has become far and away the most important reason of why we do this. As I said before, there are 3 or 4 things that make nurses unique. And there's another thing that makes nurses unique, and that is the catchphrase that you all learn in nursing school. I didn't do anything special, I'm just doing my job. And I think that sometimes nurses lose sight of the fact of all the incredible influence that they have, not only on the patient that they're dealing with, but on the patient's family and everybody else they come in contact with. And I just want to briefly tell you 3 real short stories. And these stories pretty much reflect what I said earlier about what you do that is so unique, because each one of these brings out a skill that you have as nurses. The first involved a patient that was getting ready to have some surgery. And the night nurse was going through all of his records and came across a little notation that he was on XYZ drug. I say XYZ because I can't pronounce half the drugs there. But it was on XYZ drug. And that drug had a side effect of thinning your blood. Everybody else, including the physician and the surgeon, missed that. And the surgeon said, when he was informed of it, and told the patient, that had I operated, there was a 90 to 95% chance that you would have bled to death on the table. The nurse, when she received that award, said, I didn't do anything special, I was just doing my job. I beg to disagree. I think that man probably thought she did do something special. The next one happened early on in our Daisy Award. And it's been written up in our brochures, but I think it emphasizes what I'm talking about. And that is, a nurse had a patient that was recovering from surgery. The doctor had released him to go home. The nurse said, I don't think he's acting right. He's been here 2 or 3 days. He's acting really funny this morning. The doctor re-examined him and said, everything is fine. He can go home. She had, as I pointed out, a somewhat vigorous discussion with the doctor, and he, being a very wise doctor, listened to her. And they did an MRI, and they found out that he had a small blood vessel in his brain that had broken, and he was leaking inside. They did some surgery, and they saved his life. Again, I'll swear, when the nurse received the award, she said, I didn't do anything special. I think that was pretty special, and I'll guarantee you that that patient thought that was pretty special. But the last one is to me, almost the most important one. And this was as I said this morning, and it was true, this was used to say elderly patient, but then it was pointed out to me that he was a year younger than I was. So now I say he was a mature patient, quite charming also. Anyway, he wrote in his nomination of the nurse that I have been going through surgery for the last 4 or 5 years. I was tired of it. I was ready. I didn't care anymore. And then he finished up and he said, she gave me the will to live. I just stopped and think what a gift that was. She gave me the will to live. And I asked her afterwards, what had you done? And she said, I honestly don't know. I remember the gentleman, I don't remember his name, but I remember him, and I didn't do anything special. And I kept talking with her. And it turns out that on the second day that he was there, she looked in, and he was, as she said, looked miserable, looked awful. And I just went in and I sat down beside him, and I held his hand and I started to talk to him. And I said, it's going to be all right. We're going to get through this thing. And I started to talk to him about his family. I started talking about his wife. I started talking to him about his kids and his grandkids. And he started to respond. And then we started talking a little bit about sports. And I talked to him for probably a half hour. But I didn't do anything special. And then the other day, she said later, on the other days, I would make sure and I'd tell him a joke when I was in the room. Or I would be sure and wave and smile at him when I went by the room. I didn't do anything special, she said. And once again, I just asked you to think if that man would agree that there was nothing special that she did. But not only those 3 men, stop and think the effect that that action had on those families. Here are 3 women who aren't going to be by themselves as they grow older. Here are 3 families of kids that are going to be able to talk to their dad again. Here are grandkids that are going to be able to see their grandpa again. Here are a lot of siblings that are going to be able to see their brothers again. All of these things because these nurses didn't do anything special. They were just doing their job. What an effect that had on the lives of so many people. And you guys do this every single day. And I guarantee you, if you saved lives in a public place, You'd be on the 6 o'clock news, we'd have film at 11, you would be front page. But because you save lives and have all these effects on people in the hospitals, you're just doing your job. So that's the other reason, and the last reason, and the most important reason, that we ask that Cinnabons be served at every presentation. And that is that I ask that whenever you smell a cinnamon roll, or a Cinnabon, or whenever you taste a Cinnabon or cinnamon roll, or whatever you think about it, just remind yourself what an incredible influence that you have on the lives of so many people. And I ask from the bottom of my heart that you quit this "I'm just doing my job" and change it to "I'm doing my job." And quit saying "I didn't do anything special." Say, "I did something really special. I'm making the world a better place by what I do every single day. I'm a nurse. Thank you." Thank you.